Hey guys, hope you're doing well. We're wrapping up our scientific notation unit, and I wanted to just put together a brief review video on how to use the calculator online to do operations with scientific notation. There are other videos up there that I've already posted, so I would encourage you to take a look at those, but this will just be kind of a quick review of how to use the calculator. The first thing is using IXL, one of my recommendations would be to take problems from IXL and write them down on paper first, if you can't switch back and forth between screens. So I've done that here, and I've got some problems that I took from IXL and then just wrote them down on the paper. Now you can do this if you want, write it down, go to the calculator, and then solve it. So you'll see here that I have a subtraction problem, a unique multiplication problem where I have one number that is in standard notation and one problem in scientific, and then I've got a division problem here. So I wrote those down, so now I can kind of see them when I put them into the calculator. So we'll stop sharing screen here, and then I'll bring up the Desmos scientific calculator. There is a link to this on your Clever page. If you've got your own scientific calculators that you want to use, by all means, go for it. So we're going to go ahead and bring that up over here for our scientific calculator. I have zoomed in and made it larger, so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see on the screen. The key to doing these scientific notation problems is going to be using parentheses here. This is really important. Open and close the parentheses, and then this button right here, A with a little b above it, basically means raising it to something power. So if we take that first problem, which was a subtraction problem, I'm going to start with the parentheses, and then it was 9.75 times 10 to the 9th power. So I type in the 10, push the exponent button, 9. Now the key here is you're going to see the cursors blinking up there with the 9 in the exponent. It's really important to click to the outside of the parentheses so you get your blinking cursor out there. If not, anything I type is going to be inside of the exponent, which I don't want. So we're going to go ahead and delete those 5s, and then we'll click out here. So you see it's blinking on the outside of the parenthesis. This is important for every one of these problems. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to write another parenthesis, and it's 2.69 times 10, use the exponent button, to the 9th power. And I push enter. Over on the right here, you'll see the answer is 7.06 times 10 to the 9th power. Now, because of the size of this number, this calculator automatically put it in scientific notation. If the answer was not put in scientific notation, we would have to then convert it afterwards, which we'll address and look at here shortly. So for my first problem, I've got that subtraction problem and it's done. I've got the answer in scientific notation. Now, if it's a multiple choice option on IXL, then you pick the correct answer. If you have to type it in, just remember to type it in very similarly to what we did here. Now, if you remember on the document camera, our second problem was multiplication. And the first number was 0.03. Now with a calculator, I don't need to put the 0 in front, but I can. I can go 0.03. Now remember, I want parentheses, so I'm going to backtrack here, and I'm going to delete those. Even if it's not in parentheses on the screen, I would encourage you, anytime you're doing an operation, put the number in parentheses. So if we're doing scientific notation, you're going to have far fewer mistakes using the calculator. So we're going to go parentheses, 0.03, click to the outside of it, times my second parenthesis, 1 times, and it was 10 exponent, and it was a negative 3rd power, so negative 3. With this Desmos calculator, you're just going to use the minus sign for negative. Other calculators will actually have a button you're supposed to use for negative. And I'm going to go ahead and push enter. Off to the right here, you'll see the answer is in scientific notation again. So 3 times 10 to the negative 5th power. I did not have to convert. All right. And then if you recall, our final problem that I had written down on paper was a division. Now this one's going to be really key because it's going to put it in a fraction bar. So it was 8 times 10 to the 4th divided by 2 times 10 to the 2nd. So I'm going to set up my parenthesis again. 8 times 10 to the 4th. Exponent button here. This is the key. 4th power. Don't forget, click outside of the parenthesis. If not, when you do division, watch what happens. It puts a fraction in the exponent, which I don't want. So I'm going to backtrack, click outside the parenthesis. Now push divided, and you'll see it'll make the whole fraction bar. Parenthesis again, 2 times 10 to the 2nd. Notice this answer over here is 400. 400 is in standard notation. So the final thing I may have to do is convert that to scientific. So let me go ahead and stop sharing the calculator here. And let's go back to sharing the document camera. Now, if you notice here, I wrote the answers down as I was getting them off of the calculator. And then the third one here is 400. Well, for that 400, remember the decimal is at the end. And for it to be in scientific, I need to put it right next to the 4, in between the 4 and the 0. So this becomes 4 times 10 to the, and I moved it 2 times. So 4 times 10 to the 2nd. So this is a quick review of how to use the calculator. Hopefully you have been seeing this and doing it. Our IXL lessons for the beginning of this second week is going to be addition and subtraction. You've already done multiplication and division using the calculator. There is a video on YouTube that I made that shows you how to do all of these operations without the calculator, and you can do it manually if you would prefer. Hopefully this was helpful for you and a quick review of using the calculator. Have a great day, guys.